Yes, we moved item 11 forward to public forum, so Ms. Dethridge.
Madam Chair, we have Shelia Earl. Could you state your name and address for the record, please? And you have up to 5 minutes.
Okay, thank you for allowing me to speak. My name is Shelia Earl. My address is 1314 Wendover Road in Knoxville. I'm going to share something that's going to sound like a personal narrative, but before I get started, I want to let you know it's not one that is unique to me. So I hope you keep that in mind. I listened during the discussion during Monday's meeting regarding public forum and school employees, and quite frankly, I've been fearful of repercussions should I voice my concerns in this arena. However, as I promised my daughter, I'm going to be brave. I have been reticent to speak before the board because Dr. McIntyre has instructed administrators that they were not to approach board members with issues. However, I'm no longer an administrator, and I would appreciate the board's assistance in determining why that is. On July 19, 2012, I was called by HR to come in, and I naively believed that my time had finally come and I was going in for an interview for a principalship. After all, I had spent 9 years as a successful assistant principal, after 14 years as an award-winning teacher, all for Knox County Schools. During my years as an assistant principal, I received nothing but above-average evaluations from 3 different directors. As a matter of fact, my evaluation that previous year was a 5, seemingly earning an Apex bonus. I'd even completed the D21 program with excellent results as well. Since the State Board of Education, their evaluation policy states that the purpose of these evaluations is, in part, to inform human capital decisions such as assignment and promotion, I thought my level 5 evaluation score would mean a promotion, if anything. You can imagine my shock when I was told by Dr. Sims that Dr. McIntyre had decided to place me in a teaching position. She handed me a sheet with 10 possible teaching placements. When I asked for the reason why, I was reminded that administrators serve at the pleasure of the superintendent. Ms. Malin, the director who had most recently evaluated me, acted as a scribe, but she remained silent. Dr. McIntyre was conveniently out of town. I left the meeting dazed and without any meaningful answers or explanations. Since this was only 2 days before I was to resume my position as the Bricky Cloud Elementary assistant principal, I had to quickly go and clear out my office and all that entails. I also had very limited time to prepare myself and my classroom to teach 3rd grade, something I hadn't done in nearly 10 years. Moreover, I now had to try to adjust my family's budget to absorb a 25% cut in pay. As I numbly threw my energies into my teaching position, I asked several people why they thought this might have happened and whether or not I should try to demand some answers. My now former principal was distressed herself, and she had no idea why this had happened. And my new principal suggested, because she also didn't know, that perhaps the powers that be were watching to see how gracefully I handled this and that maybe they had me in mind for another administrative position the next year. Obviously, that did not happen. When it was announced that the previous year's Apex Awards had been applied, I quickly checked my status. Imagine my surprise when I visited the Apex website to see, listed next to my name, were the words, "Employee no longer in good standing." Thus began a series of calls and emails trying to determine why. This started in November of 2012 and involved multiple emails. I finally received an explanation for this in April of 2013 when I received an email from Ms. Towns stating that anyone who had been demoted from an administrative position to a teaching position was no longer in good standing. This educator, who had provided over 20 years of excellent service to the students and parents of Knox County Schools, was no longer in good standing and therefore would not receive the earned bonus. Ms. Fugit has the series of emails that I sent to Dr. McIntyre, Dr. Sims, and others, as well as the final response from Dr. McIntyre. I'd intended to share these with the board this evening, but was required instead to provide them as evidence so that I would be allowed to speak. What the chair does not know is that I never received a response of any kind until my sister, unbeknownst to me, contacted the Knox County Ethics Board. I truly believe that this was the only reason I finally received a response from the superintendent, since I had sent multiple emails to no avail. When I called in to speak tonight, I was asked if I was a KCS employee, and I am. But I'm also the parent, proud parent of a Knox County school student. And if decisions like the one I've described are happening in my child's school district, and it's not the only one that's happened this way, in mine, I want to know, I deserve to know, and the Knox County parents all deserve to know how these decisions represent excellence for every child. Thank you for your time and attention.